Good evening. I am Zenobia Dallas, the chair of the City of Saginaw Planning Commission. This is a regular meeting of the City Planning Commission. The purpose of the public comment on the agenda allows the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the secretary for the record. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole. Remarks shall not be addressed to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Speakers may ask general or specific questions, and those questions will be referred to city staff for appropriate follow-up. Each speaker is limited to 3 minutes and may only speak once. Speakers should limit their remarks to business within the jurisdiction of this commission. The purpose of a public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the relevant hearing and not to speak on other topics. When the petition, special land use, or site plan approval in which you are interested is called, please be prepared to speak. Once you are recognized, give your name and address to the secretary for the record. The applicant whose application is the subject of the public hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. After the appellant's presentation, others may comment. Again, those speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Each additional speaker commenting on the subject of the hearing will be limited to 3 minutes. Speakers may only speak once on that hearing. This meeting is videotaped, so it is important that only one person speak at a time and the audience observe respect for the speaker. An affirmative vote of the majority of the members present is necessary to grant a petition, special land use, or site plan approval. Recommendations on all petitions, special land uses, or site plans made by the Planning Commission are then forwarded to City Council for disposition. Are there any questions? Seeing none, Staff Zimmerman, will you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Braley, Commissioner Zuerko, Commissioner Dallas,
Present.
Commissioner Hanley,
Present.
Commissioner Jones,
Present.
Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Nash,
Present.
Commissioner Nightingale, Commissioner Ostash.
Present.
Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes from September 28th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
Move to approve. Second.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from September 28th, 2021. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposition? Abstentions?
Aye.
That's for the,
Did you say, object? Because I wasn't here on the 28th. So is it someone, hello, board, my name is Sharon Parks. Now, what I was gonna ask, because I wasn't here on the 28th, this is my first time attending a city meeting. If we can get a review of those,
the minutes
is
of
there
the,
someone that read the minutes over, or do you just pass them on?
the minutes,
It is for the commission to decide whether or not their minutes should be passed. You'll have a chance to speak during the public comment
No,
portion
but I'm
on any
asking
matters of
about
concern.
the 28th
the minutes,
is what I'm referring to, yes.
the minutes of the last Planning Commission meeting were emailed to the members.
Okay,
The members are voting on the minutes simply in terms of they were recording the business of the last meeting, and we're just simply confirming that what happened and transpired at the last meeting is what is now detailed in the minutes that we have. The minutes, if I believe correctly, are on the city's website.
Mm-hmm.
If you have specific questions about the minutes, you can ask them during the public comment section.
okay, so those minutes from the 28th can be found on the city's website?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. The minutes then for September 28th, 2021 have been approved.
I think everybody still has to vote on that. Sorry.
I'm sorry, did we vote?
We had a first, a second, and then
Question.
when you got to abstentions.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
and then-
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. The minutes from September 28th, 2021 have been approved. The next item on our agenda is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion?
So move. Support.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. The next section on the agenda is public comment. Again, the public comment section is to allow the public to speak to the Planning Commission about issues of general concern in the community. If you wish to speak, come to the podium, give your name, your address, and your remarks shall be addressed to the individual, not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. Your specific questions can be referred to the city staff for appropriate follow-up.
We don't do that after the meeting?
If you would like to speak to the Planning Commission in general, you can step to the podium, give us your name and your address.
Okay. Hello,
Yes.
my name is Sharonda Parks. My address is 349 South 13th Street. Now, what I was speaking of is that in order for us to address public concerns, if this is our first time at the meeting, if we can hear what policies and what's on the floor to be what's voted on or what's on the forum, then we'll have something to reply to.
Is there a copy of the agenda available for this young lady?
I write on mine.
I read it on mine, but. That's what we're talking about tonight.
And again, I believe we also post the agendas to the website.
Yes.
Yeah.
Once again, I'm a new member of this
I understand.
of this community here.
Right.
And so I'm asking for the information. So for the next meeting that I will be attending, then I'll have all the information that's needed.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Usually the minutes and the agenda, that information is on the website, so you can have access to it before the meeting and
Okay.
familiarize yourself with what we're going to be discussing at the meeting.
Okay, absolutely. Now, my concern is that, in that area over, I noticed that they came and they swept the leaves.
What area?
I stay on 13th.
Okay,
They swept the leaves and things like that, but they just left them. I guess the city, when they came out and they had cleaned up a lot of the debris and stuff like that, they left behind. So is that on the residents to pick it up?
I'll defer that question to one of my staff members.
Right, so the public comment portion of the meetings are not a question and answer session between the public and the commission. The commission hears the public comments. Any questions that might get raised usually gets referred to staff. This is just the planning commission for the city of Saginaw, so it doesn't typically hear general comments. It only
Okay.
hears comments.
So you wouldn't hear about the highways and nothing like that, because when I went to get on
Those might be
the
better addressed at
expressway and
city
things
council.
like that, those were shut down without notice of the community. So if I'm rushing to work, so, I gotta go all the way around the city just to get on the highways, no detours, no detour signs or anything telling you to go left, right. And I have a cell phone. So it's one of those things where you just trying to figure out how you get into where you're going. So is that something that's not handled by this planning?
The Planning Commission, correct, as Attorney Lusk mentioned, the Planning Commission does not handle those situations. You may want to address those to the City Council or Roads.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
Ma'am? If I'm-
Yes.
Yes. What you might want to do too is call the clerk's office and ask to speak to the streets division.
The City Clerk.
City clerk.
399-13.
Is that a new phone?
Okay, so as well, I have a question for the planning commission. Do you have something as far as for the youth go? Because we have had a lot of inner city violence where the youth, is there a building that's gonna be set up in the center of the city?
Again, I would encourage you to go to the website to see what are the responsibilities and duties of the Planning Commission. The Planning Commission does not have that item under our purview. It is not part of our responsibilities to handle.
Understood.
Yes. Again, I would suggest that you contact the city clerk and ask the city clerk who is responsible for that particular area of interest to you.
Okay.
Okay? Any other questions in terms of public comment? And I'm sorry, young lady, your name again was?
Sharonda Parks. And I have
Ms.
another-
Parks, I thank you, first of all, I
Yeah.
thank you for coming to the Planning Commission.
I have another question. For the new zoning that's going on, there's not nothing that you guys gonna do either. The planning commission, when they say that it was a board where they had 11 districts that had to be, where the lines, they were gonna
Are
move.
you talking about the
some of
Human Planning Commission?
Yeah,
That's a different commission.
okay. When does that commission meet?
I don't know.
Contact the city clerk. She would have, Janice Santos would have that information for you.
Janice Santos.
She's the
Third
city clerk.
I believe it's third Wednesday.
Ma'am,
Third Wednesday of the month?
thank you.
And all regular city boards and commission meetings are posted on the city's website, on the city calendar.
If you go under the clerk section, there will be a boards and commissions, and you can get all the meeting times there for every board and commission.
Okay, so the planning commission, just if I had a project or if I wanted to develop a piece of land, I would come here and ask to file a petition to be able to.
That's part of the
Develop the
process,
land.
yes. There are additional steps in that, but that's generally what we handle, yes. Again, I thank you for your comments and your choice to be an active citizen of this community. You're welcome. The next item on our agenda is new business. The first business item we have is item number J210103, site plan review on expansion plans for 1705 Boxwood. There is no public hearing for this site plan review, so I would ask for a motion.
Why is it not a public hearing?
Because I will let one of our staff members address
So
that.
if you'd like to have a presentation from one of the individuals involved in the project, certainly could have that.
Okay. Is there anyone here from the representative of the site plan expansion from 1705 Boxwood here?
Yes, ma'am.
Please give your name and your address.
My name is Robert Jundy. Address is 46712 River Park West. That's McComb, Michigan, 48044. I'd like to thank the board for hearing me speak today. I stand here before you guys to request approval on the expansion of 1705 Boxwood. We were here in front of the board back in, I believe it was March the 23rd, and got site plan approval for Building A. And now we would like to get a site plan approval for the building that just north of it, which is Building B. We came across, or we were introduced to some investors that could help bring the whole project as a whole. Prior to this, we were only able to do half of the property, and now we can bring Building B into the mix.
Excuse me. We can only have one person speaking at a time, and that's the person at the microphone. Okay. The public can comment on this after the appellant makes his presentation.
So with that being said, I'd like to request approval to, we're not going to split the property, split the parcel. We're going to leave it as whole, and looking to seek approval for, the Building B.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Is there a C and D building?
No,
I'm only saying because, I'm just saying this because you could have, if both buildings were there before, you could have had foresight and got it.
I think we need a motion before we start discussing it. Is there a motion for this item, J210103?
Support.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the site plan review expansion plans for 1705 Boxwood. Any discussion?
Just next time, if you got more buildings, get the whole property. I'm just saying.
no, understandable,
Yeah.
but it would have cost a few $100,000 more to
Oh,
do
I
the
know.
whole property. So that's why we originally attacked the first building.
I got it.
And that way, just parking concrete alone would have cost $150,000
I'm
more.
just saying theoretically.
Yes, sir.
Projection, you could have not done it, but still had it approved for later on the first time through. Hindsight's 20/20.
God, this is my first rodeo, so I've learned a great deal throughout this process. Bob will tell you that. But thank you guys for listening to me. Appreciate it.
I also have a question. There is a property, I believe, at 1801 Boxwood Street, which is adjacent to your property.
Yes,
Is that a house? Is that a residence?
that
Or
would be a house.
Is it an empty building or is it being rented?
No, it's vacant. That will be demolished.
So that'll be part of C. I
Yes.
think he's right, because when you come before us, you
Yes,
have to
Yeah.
come up with additional funding for that. So we're trying to make sure that you're putting this together in, I think, a very good plan. So there was that property, and there was another property that's a vacant property that's next to or very adjacent to that parcel, so,
That is correct.
okay.
Yes.
Just, all right. Any other questions from the commission? All right, hearing none. Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Dallas?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash?
Yes.
Motion was approved.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is a public hearing for the Historic District Ordinance amendments. Again, the purpose of a public hearing is to address the commission with regard to the subject of the hearing and not other topics. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. The applicant whose application is the subject of this hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and will be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. Each additional speaker on the subject will be allowed 3 minutes. When you are recognized, please state your name and address for the record. Will the staff members speak to these amendments?
Well, the first one here is for the Historic Commission ordinance. It's an amendment to the zoning ordinance. In order to accommodate projects that come before the board, we've had some difficulty in getting a quorum. And so part of what we're doing here is changing the number of individuals required on the Historic District Commission, and likewise bringing some of the language up to current standards. Likewise, we're looking at identifying specific changes as we establish some of the historic districts within the city.
I would only also add that Commissioner Ostash might want to speak to this as he initially brought these forward before council. This is on his initiative.
Yep. So also too, some of the parts of the ordinance that are not in line with the state statute would be for like modifying and eliminating an existing district. So I think that was important that we have that with our zoning in case that would ever arise. I mean, the ordinance does give them the full power of the state statutes, PA 169. They also would like, it's nice that you have it in your local ordinance and adopt it as well.
Can you speak to some of the specific changes that are marked in red?
Yeah, so even under section 153.541, modifying or eliminating, again, that's just some of the language that's in the state statute that was not in our local ordinance. So we're just aligning that once again. When I was on the commission, back in the day, we did do the same thing where there were some pieces that were missing from our ordinance, so we actually just aligned it with the state statute.
I'm specifically interested in the page 153.538.
The struck language there was a membership requirement set forth in our ordinance that isn't a requirement under state law.
Okay.
And because we have had issues filling seats with the Historic District Commission and giving a forum at meetings, we thought it was an unnecessary requirement, given that it's not actually required by state law. So to try to open up membership a little bit more, we're recommending that be struck.
Okay,
Yes, and the state was not requiring it.
okay.
We were actually kind of stronger than the state.
How many members are on this commission, or were?
Right now, they have,
I mean, through the statute we have now?
with our current ordinance?
Yeah.
I believe they have five sworn.
You can have 7 or 9. We currently have 4.
So they
So
have,
then 4 is a quorum.
they have openings. Yeah, they just recently lost 2 of their members that have been on for years. Yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
yeah. So they are looking for members if anybody's listening, watching, and have an interest in this commission.
I have a question, just point of clarification, maybe you can help me with. Under 153.541, where it says including proposed district previously considered and rejected, is there a reason why we would reconsider something that was previously rejected or denied as a district?
Which section again?
Top of page 2,
Page 2.
the change, top of,
Is
Second
that
page.
something that's in the state law, or?
Yeah, it mirrors the language in the state law. There's nothing in the state law that would preclude something that was previously proposed before council to be a historic district.
Are you talking, the question was about modification?
Well, it's prior to, right before modification, where it
Rejected.
says previously considered and rejected. So you can reconsider a property that was, a long time ago, said that they didn't want it to be a historic district, or am I?
The process would need to be reinitiated, but yes.
Okay.
Right, so including proposed districts previously considered and rejected. So if a district was rejected, they could study it again.
Okay.
Maybe the structures have changed over time.
Okay,
Yep, and previously considered, maybe it didn't actually go through the whole process, so they want to restudy it again and bring it forth.
Okay.
Which would all be done through a resolution through the council to establish the study committee.
okay, thank you.
Yeah. And one of the changes in here too with the state law says too, is that once you establish your study committee to designate the original district, that study committee could just do that job. Or you can have a study committee for each study, or you can have a standing study committee, which then that committee would just be in place where members could come on and off at the vote of the council. So they would have to fill out their application, go through the process, and council put up. But at least you have a standing study committee that doesn't have to be readopted by resolution for everything that they want to do. Yeah. So these were some of the hurdles that we ran into recently with the recent suggestions for like the Potter Street train station and the Barrington.
because they're not actually adjacent to our current historical district.
Actually, just once we looked at the ordinance, just trying to get the studies going, and we noticed some issues that we needed to address.
Okay.
And actually I saw it and kind of brought it to the attention, so I thought, well, we should make those changes, so we're.
Okay. Any more questions from the commission? Did I put a motion on the floor?
I think the public
No, but we
hearing is
haven't had
still
the
open, so you
public
can call the public.
So I will take a vote now I'm sorry, are there any questions from the public? on this ordinance. Again, the question is, or the issue is, we are modifying the Historic District Commission ordinance. There are two main areas that we're looking at. The first area is that a representative of the, someone who chooses to represent themselves or represent the city on the commission does not need to be a property owner or resident of a historic district. And also, we are looking at modifying and eliminating district language where the city council can actually appoint a specific committee to look at specific districts or buildings in the city to be considered under the historic umbrella. Any questions from the public on this particular amendment?
It would be comments.
I'm sorry, comments
Oh, yeah, I have some comments.
on the historic district ordinance?
Yeah, on the historic district ordinance.
Please come to the microphone.
Being is that you have activists and people that's in the community that's helping shift and move these ordinance and the redevelopment of a lot of different areas is because of the developmental part of it, where you have people that do work inside of the community. So with this board, okay, if it, like you said, it's modification. So if it was once an area.
We're talking about the historic districts only, not the entire city, just the historic districts.
Right. Exactly. This what I'm talking about. Because if you saying if it was once upon a time, if it was an area and it was rejected under the modification, right? Under modification, you can bring that rejected property area back and put it as a part of the historic, correct?
You
How
can
many-
request that process.
Okay. Now you say that you don't have to be a resident or a property owner in that area for that to happen.
No, what I said was, you do not have to be a resident or a property owner in an historic district to be on the Historic District Commission. We're also looking for members to join the commission, citizens of the community to join the commission to make some of these decisions.
Okay. So basically, okay, y'all looking for members. All right.
Okay.
Now, my next thing was that, how many people, if you say you stand at 4, right? So once it's decided that it's a historic district, what happens to those properties? Do you tear them down? Like, what you do? Do you develop the area?
I can speak on this.
But this is a public comment, so we really should do it after we're in a public hearing.
Okay.
I'm trying to,
You have your 3 minutes to speak, and then they can respond to you afterward. That's how public.
Okay, because I'm trying to get understanding. If you say it's a historic district, if you don't live in the district, or none, if you're not a resident of the district, but all the decisions is being made.
Bottom
So whether
line
it's
is
2 minutes or 5 minutes.
The bottom line is your query should be addressed at the Historic District Commission meeting.
Okay, is it a time for that meeting, ma'am?
Yes, it meets on the 4th Thursdays of the month, at 4:30. But not this coming Thursday. They rearranged it and had it last week. That's also on the website.
Okay.
And they can ask
And you'll
they
be-
can answer your questions after.
Okay. And I'm trying to see, your seat, your title? What's your name, your title?
Oh, my name is Cassie
Cassie?
Zimmerman,
Cassie Summer, and your title?
Business Development Manager. I work for Saginaw Future, and I
Okay,
administer some of these boards with
Cassie,
Bob over here.
and you, work development?
Yep.
Are there any other public comments?
So you're not actually a part of the committee, you just work with him? So you like a out partner? I'm asking.
Yeah, I like run them. Yes. We're doing a whole meeting.
Okay.
Could you sit down?
Yes.
Sorry. being a little,
I'm just trying to figure it out, who are part of the members of the committee and.
The commission is
Yeah.
at your dais up here. These are the commission members up here.
So, y'all fired a commission.
We have name tags, nameplates. Our names are up here.
I wear glasses.
I'm sorry.
So, okay, so the 5 individuals that's sitting in front of me, y'all the commission.
We are part of the planning commission, yes.
Ma'am, you part of the planning commission too? Or
I'm the city attorney,
city attorney?
correct.
Sir,
And I'm the urban planner.
the urban,
Planner.
so you the main person I need to talk to then. I'm talking, you look me off, oh, yeah, okay, we'll just go on finish the meeting.
Is it okay if I close the public meeting? Excuse me, I close the public hearing. I would like a vote to close the public hearing.
So
A motion, I'm sorry. Support. Okay. It has been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? The public hearing for the Historic District Ordinance Amendments is closed. I now would like to entertain a motion to approve these changes to the amendments to the Historic District Commission Ordinance. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Support.
Okay, second, I heard that. Any questions or comments from the commission members on these ordinances? Yes.
would it be now to time I could comment on the public comment? Okay. I didn't get your first name, I'm sorry, I forgot it again, but I will address your comments about the Historic District Commission, being I was on that commission for 14 years, and I chaired it for 6. The city can have a commission that can study a property. Once that study is done, that study is submitted to the state. The state reviews that, whether they approve it or not, then they send it back to the city. Once it comes back to the city, then there's a public hearing. And once that public hearing process is done, the city council has the opportunity to make that a district or not. So that's kind of the whole process that it goes through. Why do states have local historic districts and why do cities have local historic districts? Are to protect the structures, not to tear them down. So I want to make sure that I make that point clear. So the other part that the ordinance does is it protects them from exterior alteration, so that you just can't tear off beautiful cornice work, or you can't severely alter that building, because that's the reason why it's being made a local historic district. So that's why we have like Heritage Square and Old Town, the Temple Theater, the Armory, the Jefferson one, they're all local districts. And so it's actually to protect them from now on into the future.
Yeah, and see,
Thank you.
Thank you.
There's
I can talk to you
no
after.
back and forth. Thank you. Just a comment.
Thank you, sir, that was beautiful.
I
Because
just
I had
wanted,
the same thing to say about the gentleman that just stood here and.
Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call vote?
yes. Chair Dallas,
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley,
Yes.
Commissioner Jones,
Yes.
Commissioner Nash,
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash.
yes.
Motion was approved. It will be recommended to council for approval.
Thank you. The next item on our agenda is public hearing for the Board of Appeals on zoning ordinance amendments. Again, the purpose of the public hearing is to address the commission with regards to the subject of this hearing and not other topics. Speakers shall address their remarks to the commission as a whole and not to individual commission members, city staff, or the audience. The applicant whose application is the subject of the hearing or their designated representative shall be the main presenter and be allowed 10 minutes for their presentation. Each additional speaker on the subject, commenting on the subject, will be limited to 3 minutes. And when you are recognized, please state your name and address for the record. Again, will a staff member speak to these amendments?
Again, this is an ordinance amendment that brings in line the language of the state ordinance, or state law, but the difference, I guess, or the added feature of this is that we're reducing the number of board members from 6 to 5, because we had a similar kind of a problem with attendance. So then that would effectively change the quorum required from 4 to 3. The rest of the language is simply to mirror what the state law states.
And the state law provides that the Board of Appeals on Zoning can consist of 5 or more members. So because, again, of the membership issues, we're taking it down to the minimum that the state law requires.
Those are the questions, city attorney. So if you reduce it,
We can hold our questions until the public hearing is over.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Are there any comments from the public on this, the consideration of amendments to the Board of Appeals on zoning ordinance?
Yes. If you say
Will you
that-
please state your question at the podium?
Okay. Okay, now you say that you're gonna take the amendments and it's going from 6 to 5, and then you're only gonna need a quorum from 4 to 3. How does that affect the public? If it's zones, so what if, I'm asking.
Right, again, we can answer you after your public comment.
Oh, so I just.
Yeah, you ask the questions, and the staff may not have the answers right away, so they can't necessarily answer you immediately. They may have to go back and look at the ordinance in detail or consult with someone else. So your questions are being presented for them to respond to at a later date.
Well, I do have the answer, but we're in a public hearing. Oh, okay.
Okay.
So we just,
Do you have a copy of the zones?
It's a zoning
the zoning ordinances,
ordinance? Mhm.
Yeah, can I get that too?
That's all.
It's
Okay.
all online.
all is on the website.
It's really big,
Yeah, it's about
unless you want a
85
map,
pages long.
which is,
Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I would like an answer to that.
Is there anyone else who would like to comment on this case? Again, we're considering the amendments to the Board of Appeals on zoning ordinance. Anyone else would like to comment on this case? Do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
so move.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Public hearing is closed. I now will entertain a motion for approval of the amendments to the Board of Appeals on zoning ordinance.
Move to support.
Support.
It has been moved and seconded to approve the amendments to the Board of Appeals on zoning ordinance. Any questions from the commission?
Yes. Back to my question. So you're going from 6 to 5,
Correct,
and the quorum is 3,
correct.
correct? How many votes are needed to pass anything?
3.
Only 3. This goes back to the, okay. So when you look at the planning commission like this one, it's just the majority, right? Of the members.
Correct.
Planning permission, you still have to have 3. So if 3 people show up at the meeting, which is a quorum, and 1 votes no, 2 votes yes, it fails.
Correct.
Correct, okay.
Can you repeat the last part?
So on the city zoning, the way, this is a city planning.
Right.
It passes or fails it passes on the majority, okay? So in this situation, there's 5 people, right, at the table. If you get 3 votes, it passes. On the city zoning, if you have, with the commission was 6,
And on the, with regard to the plan, I'd have to look at that up real quick, if it's a majority of those attending or if it's a majority of members.
oh yeah, okay, correct.
But I have the Board of Appeals on zoning
Correct,
language.
correct, correct. What you're saying, so when you go to the zoning, if you only have 4 people at the meeting, you have to have 4 positive votes. So 3 voted yes, 1 voted no, it would still fail. Which is different than this one, I think, right? Which is,
I'd have to pull, again,
Yeah.
have to pull up
Yes.
the planning commission
Yeah.
language. But very specifically, and it's part of the amendments that are being proposed, is that the zoning ordinance does specifically state the concurring vote of, it currently says 4, we're trying to amend it to 3. The
Three.
concurring vote of 3 members of the Board of Appeals on Zoning shall be necessary to reverse any order, requirement, decision, or determination, so.
It kind of makes sense, but it's just a little different.
Yeah.
Yep.
So basically, the public don't get to say nothing, y'all just vote how y'all wanna vote.
The purpose of the public hearing is to hear comments from the public. We opened the public hearing to the public, and their comments were made. We take those issues into consideration when we do our final vote.
Yeah, because if it's going to, if it's 50,000 people and you're gonna go from 6 to 5, that's just like the schools when it's overcrowded. Folks can't take care of the zones that they have now.
Your question and comment is out of order. We are talking about the Board of Appeals on Zoning, another commission. We're simply talking about their membership. We're not talking about passing anything or not passing anything. We're talking about the membership of the Board of Appeals on Zoning. We're looking to make sure that there are enough people on that commission, or excuse me, on that board, to make decisions to move the city's business forward. If there are not enough members on that board, no business can be conducted. That's all we're looking at. We're not talking about the school district or anything of that sort. We're just simply talking about the Board of Appeals.
It's 6, and then they say it's gonna be 5, so that now it only take 3 votes. Meaning that if you, the 6th person, you know, it's gonna affect the vote.
And this is why we ask people, citizens of this community, to get involved with boards and commissions, so they are aware of what's going on.
Yeah, because I live in the community.
So we would like for you to join the Board of Appeals on Zoning. You can go to the city's website again and request to become a member. There are plenty of boards and commissions that do not have enough members or that there are vacancies. We welcome your voice on those commissions and boards. Any other comments from the commission on this ordinance amendment? Okay. Staff Zimmerman, will you take a roll call vote, please?
Commissioner Dallas?
Yes.
Commissioner Hanley?
Yes.
Commissioner Jones?
Yes.
Commissioner Nash?
Yes.
Commissioner Ostash?
Yes.
Motion was approved. It will be recommended to City Council.
And they will take these up at the next city council meeting?
Yes, November
8.
8th,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
And then it's a little bit of a process. They'll basically be fully adopted by right around Christmas time.
Okay. And when will the changes go into the public record?
Yeah, around that
In terms,
time.
okay, around,
That's when they're fully enacted.
got it, okay.
Yeah, because these are zoning changes, so they got to lay over for 30 days instead of just 2 weeks.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. The next item on our agenda is old business, the master plan status update.
Currently, we're working on the Parks and Recreation Plan portion of it. That has to be submitted to the state DNR for us to be able to apply for grants, and so we're focusing most of our attention to that. A draft, we're working on a draft, it'll probably be out in a week or two perhaps, and at the next planning commission, I can give you a copy of at least the draft, get your comments on it.
Can we get that electronic version of that?
Yep.
Okay. How far along are we in terms of completing that draft? Is it, would you say 80%, 90% of the plan?
Of the whole
Of the-
master plan,
right.
or just the Parks and Rec part? So the Parks and Rec plan has to be in DNR's hands by February.
Okay,
And it requires the city council to approve it. And likewise, the master plan's about that same time period. That might go into actually March, but we still have to get public comment period. Because we're focusing specifically on the Parks and Rec, everything else has sort of been put on hold.
okay. Any questions from the commission members on the,
Just wanted to confirm, so we should be, because I know that we did a resolution before to extend the master plan, so we're looking at March timeframe?
Yeah, probably, something like that.
Okay, thank you.
I got,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I got a question. This is for our urban planner. With the master plan, once you get the draft out there, will there be any proposed zoning changes as well? Sometimes they go hand in hand.
Usually part of the master plan, there's goals, objectives, and action plans, and that probably would be reflected within those action plans to
Okay.
look at zoning various portions of the city or changing the ordinance in some way to make it more current and up to date, I guess.
And we've talked about some of the other things,
Yeah,
wish list.
yeah.
Thank you, thank you.
Any other comments from the commission? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Meeting is adjourned.